dude, everything changed for me, Kris, honestly, man, at the conference, bro. Because I still thought I was a big dog because I was still making, 6-figure income.
Yeah.
Literally in my underwears, right? Like on the couch, still making some money. And so I thought I was
You're the poster infomercial dude. Hey, you can make 6 figures doing this in my underwear at my house. Yeah. There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. People always say, Kris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words, hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Entrepreneurs in Finance, where we explore the daily lives of CCTG graduates, lenders, and everybody else in between. And this episode, I am very proud to interview Joshua Blessing of Blessing Capital. Hey, Joshua.
What's going on, buddy?
Everything's going on. What's going on with you? As we were discussing before, April 2017, that's when you came through.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes you an OG or not. I don't know.
No, man, I feel like it, but time flies. Time flies, so.
For sure, it does. Well, it's good to reconnect with you again.
Thank you.
So tell me, where are you located? And what's and you came through 2017, which I'll get to that, but where are you located? And segue into what led you to come to CCTG? What were you doing prior?
Yeah, so I'm currently located in Arizona. I'm still in Arizona. I love it. I'm actually in Tucson. So we have our office here in Tucson, Arizona. And prior to CCTG, I was actually a broker, a commercial real estate agent for Berkshire Hathaway. So I worked for Berkshire Hathaway as an agent. I was in Seattle at the time, and I just eventually just wanted to get out of selling homes, man, to be honest. And so I actually I was working for this one individual lender, small lender. He was paying me to find deals and do deals for him. And I was doing that for about almost 6 months to a year. And I honestly don't know how your guys' content came up, but something came up. I moved from Seattle. I was living in LA. This was kind of in that transition point. Mm-hmm. And I told my wife, I'm like, I want to join this class. I think it will be a game changer for me. And then, it took us some time to save up. So it took us like the summertime to come up with the money. And we finally came up with it. And she actually came out with me to the class. And that was April of 2017.
Wow. Okay.
Crazy.
Did you have to do a lot of convincing with your wife?
No, man, she was totally like supportive. Like, people asked me that before, like my wife was just so down. She's like, I'm like telling her, I'm like, hey, I need to get out of real estate, and I really feel called to finance. And I don't know, it was something weird. It was like, I was like, I need to do this. I feel like if I can do this, and so she was super supportive. Yeah. So I'm very grateful for her.
Yeah. It's one of 2 ways when it comes to that in my experience with graduates, right? Like, either it's an uphill battle with their significant other, significant other is skeptical, obviously, or it's like, hey, we're all in, so it sounds like you guys were all in.
She was all in, man.
All right.
She's all in.
Tell me about that first day when you came to Albany and you stepped into class.
Yeah.
What were the emotions you were feeling? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, man, I think everyone in the class, like when you're committing to something that large, you're just you're at least for me, I was just super pumped. To be honest, I was super pumped. I remember you coming in the room, super down to earth, like you just seem like a guy that you can have a beer with, right? Like you've always been that way. Like, also John was there, super just chill, and it was honestly, man, it was very welcoming. Everybody like felt very supportive. I still have friends from the class. I still talk to people from the class. So for me, I was super pumped.
Yeah. I was just remembering. I mean, it's April now, and how time fitting. I mean,
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that, man.
2017, and here we are.
Yeah, 5 years, dude. Like,
5 years.
wow.
I know, man.
That's crazy, man.
So tell me, all right, so you went through training. I mean, how was it the day after you left training? Were you like, wow? Like, was it like all the information that we went over? Like, what were your emotions from Monday to when you left at the end of the week? Like,
Yeah, man. I was like, I need to get some deals done. That's just me. That's my,
that's your
that's my
personality.
style. I'm like,
Yeah.
Even in the class, I was thinking about clients that I was working with now that I can finally place their file, somewhere where I didn't have that opportunity before. And so, what you guys provided in the class was really those lenders that we need to be able to place files, those relationships, those connections. And so for me, man, I was just ready to grind, to be honest. So
Right.
I was literally on the flight coming back and I was closing deals. So that's just my mentality though,
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And now, walk me through first 6 months out of your business.
First 6 months out.
Talk to me about I want this to be a real interview, which it is. It always is. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
But talk to me about the struggles. Now, where were some of those struggles in those 6 months?
Yeah. And so I talked to some of the people from the class, like my class, that were kind of going through a little bit more struggle than I was. See, like I had a background in brokering before. So it wasn't like I came into this like just, wide-eyed, bushy tail. I had more of an understanding. I had a little book of business.
Okay.
So for me, it was a little bit different. Like I was able to close some files, get some SBA loans approved, get some lines of credit approved.
Got it.
I was doing some MCAs, so I had some low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
My challenge really didn't come till like about 2019. It was weird. Like I kind of got into this weird rut. Kind of just felt like I was still getting deals. I was still paying my bills. I still had a mortgage. I was still covering stuff, but it was like I was in a different mindset. I was just kind of, honestly, man, to be honest, I was kind of just like not negative. What was that?
You reached a plateau almost, like you
Yeah,
couldn't.
like I kind of just felt like, I don't know. It was a plateau, but I was still making money.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I wasn't making money, but I kind of wasn't, I didn't have that fire no more about the business. And so,
Right.
but I had consistency where people still would call me and I would still get referrals. And so it was like, but I wasn't going out and hunting. I wasn't trying to make new relationships. I was kind of just seeing whatever came to me. So my challenges didn't really come till about a year and a half later. And then,
Interesting. That's interesting.
yeah, it was a weird little place, man. And I was kind of contemplating like, maybe I should just go work for a mortgage company. Maybe I should go do, I was thinking about just getting fed leads, right? Like, let me just go be a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
So it was a weird thing. And dude, everything changed for me, Kris, honestly, man, at the conference, bro, because I still thought I was a big dog because I was still making, 6-figure income.
Yeah.
Literally in my underwears, right? Like on the couch, still making some money. And so I thought I was
You're the poster infomercial dude. Hey, you could make 6 figures doing this in my underwear at my house. Yeah.
But it wasn't like, I know I could do more.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So
you went to the conference. What year? What year did you go to our conference?
Dude, I went to the last conference in 2021, man. So just the one that passed in Vegas. Yeah. And that's what fired me up, man. Like when I went in there and I was seeing the new guys coming in, just killing me.
Right.
I'm like, dude, everything shifted. Like my whole mindset completely shifted, getting back around you, getting around the people, just the energy. Dude, I knew I had to change. I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, I just apologized to her. I'm like, I'm just so sorry for just letting us down, man. Like, and she's like looking at me like, what the hell? Like, we've lived a pretty good life. And I'm like, I just haven't been working. So last year was actually my biggest year so far.
Wow.
Brought in multiple 6 figures. And this year we're on track to do well over $500,000. And And dude, I just have me an assistant. I have a transaction coordinator that works for me. I have some brokers that are independent. I have some ICs. I have like two ICs that are actually really out there doing things.
Okay. Okay.
And so that's kind of my structure. I have my little specific group of lenders. I work with them because I know them really well and they know me. And so that's kind of where we're at right now, man. So honestly, the conference changed everything for me. It just got me fired up again. And so we'll go into what I'm working on next. But yeah, sorry, man, I'm a little long-winded.
No.
Say.
Actually, it's all good stuff. I love that story. Everybody's story is different. That's what everybody goes through similar things, but everybody's story is honestly different that I interview.
Yeah.
I love that's certainly different of how you were killing it in your own right, but you just kind of lost that passion a little bit.
Yeah, I did.
I
did. I lost the passion for sure.
And I'll tell you this, you're not the first person that when they go to our conference, they get re-energized. That's why we encourage it, because I think Tim Maloney will say the same thing, who is one of our guys from way back. I think he attended in 2015 or 16, but in any event, Tim says the same thing. He was almost ready to give up the business after about 9-10 months.
Yeah.
And he went to the conference, and it totally changed his whole thing, because he met other grads and he met other people, and he's like, yeah, I'm sticking to this. And
yeah, 100%. 100%.
That's great. So now tell me, wow, you said 2021 was one of your best years. Tell me about some like, what was your most notable deal, you think? At least
I closed out the year. I did a $20 million apartment building. The client actually let me roll my commission into equity, which was really cool. I know, something different. I was like, I need some extra residual. So I now own over 179 unit apartments.
Nice.
So he let me roll, instead of taking my commission, he let me roll that amount, plus I got 1% equity. So that's pretty sweet for me. And honestly, man, I ended up closing, because the conference was in September, correct? October. Yeah. October. Okay. So I ended up closing the deal kind of before then, and I was still like I felt good. And then when I went to the conference and just seeing the other people that were killing it, I was like, dude, I gotta be number one, man. Like that's my whole mission right now. I'm just like, dude, I just want to be number one, bro. Because I'm very competitive. So, yeah. But that was the most notable deal that I did in 2021, was a $20 million apartment. It's actually here in Tucson, so it's in my local backyard. Awesome. And got equity, so pretty excited.
Yeah, no, that's congratulations on that. That's absolutely. I've known brokers to do that.
Oh, you've heard of it before?
Yeah, we're in lieu of commission.
Yeah.
They'll convert to equity. So.
Right. And on the sale of the refinance, I'll get that money back plus 1% equity. So it kind of works.
Where the money's made. Sure.
Yeah.
How was COVID with your business? You just went. Were you pretty steady in COVID?
Yeah, man. So COVID kind of fired me up, because I was getting more calls, which was weird. So the first half of COVID, it was like really like, oh shit, like, excuse my language, what do I do? Like,
yeah.
But at the end of the summer, like, then those PPPs started coming in. So everybody wanted PPPs. I'm like, damn it, man. Like, you don't really make no money off of those things, So I'm like, all right, so cool. At least I'm getting now in front of people's minds where they know, well, any of my financing needs, Josh can help me. So it was more of a marketing tool for me.
Right.
And then those clients ended up converting to like different loan products. But really, it was towards the end of 2020 that started picking up. And then I started getting a little bit momentum in 2021. Then I went to the conference, and then now it's just like, full gas, pedal to the floor.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. What's one thing that you hate about the business?
Yeah, Joe was asking me that question. I was like, dang, Joe, like, man, I feel really grateful, dude. Like, honestly, like, I would say maybe.
There's got to be something you hate about
it. Yeah,
it.
No, I think just maybe, if there's one thing I hate, and I can't really fault him for it. It's just it's bankable clients that are just rate shopping, you know,
Sure.
like, you know, that's the only thing I probably really hate. And so what I've learned to do with those people is I'm just super upfront. I'm like, man, listen, if you're rate shopping and you're bankable, just go to your bank. You know, I'm going to be a point higher or a half a point higher. My terms will be better, you know, like meaning I can do a 30-year fix. The bank's probably not going to offer you that. But that's really my only thing is people that rate shop or tire kick.
And what we know is it's not just about rate. I mean, sometimes you could beat rate for sure, but there's a lot more that goes into
exactly
than just rate.
Exactly. And so I'm fine with educating the borrower. I don't have an issue with that. But I would say maybe, maybe some tire kickers. You know, there was a client recently that he's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And he keeps texting me and he's like, hey man, I want to come by your office. So I'm like, dude, come by the office. My office is nice, right? Like, dude, come by. If a client asks me to come by the office, I know now they're bullshit. Like, he wants to sit down and talk and do all this, and then he leaves. Yeah, man, I'm ready to go. I'm gonna send the paperwork in, and then I'm like, dude, I text him. I'm like, where are you, bro? And it's just like no response. So I'm like, I need to know that now. Like, if a client wants to come by my office, I'm like, not until you sign up, man. So, maybe that's it. That's my only complaint, really. Tire kickers.
What I hate about the business, and this is fresh off the pot, I hate borrowers' attorneys.
Yeah, borrowers' attorneys.
I just came off a fresh argument right before this podcast.
Yeah.
Client wants $110 million, right. And the attorney is killing the deal.
Oh yeah, they always do.
And I told him, I said, and the client was on the phone, and I said, with all due respect, I go, you're the one that's killing this deal. And I said, maybe you should look elsewhere. I mean, literally, it's just, and I've been there. I have thick skin. It just reminded me when I came into this podcast, man, I hate attorneys that think for whatever reason, the justification of
they'll kill it.
Couple hours, man, they'll just kill it over something.
They'll kill it.
So minute. I mean, so minute. And I don't want to get into it, but yeah.
No, they'll kill it for sure.
What's something that you would maybe tell somebody that is in the business? Because graduates watch this as well. This podcast, a lot of them do. Maybe a graduate that maybe he's in the same place you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe they reached a plateau. Maybe they're struggling a little bit. Maybe they're just sitting there reevaluating. What would you tell that person?
Man, try to get to the conference. I don't mean to sound like a plug, dude. I really don't. Like, I'm not trying to be that guy.
Yeah.
But honestly, you get around other people that are fired up. You don't feel like you're on an island by yourself anymore. I think that is the downfall in our business, is because we have so much time, but not time. We have so much freedom in what we do. So we feel like we're on an island by ourselves.
Right.
And just kind of getting plugged back in is just super helpful. But more importantly, man, like what's really changed for me a lot this year is I've committed to networking at least once a week. So I've actually joined the BNI chapter. I was totally against it. I'm like, I don't need that. Like, I'm too good for a BNI, and I'm too good for, going out. But now it's completely changed my business. So I actually attend a BNI every Friday. And I would say that just when you start talking about your business weekly, you start selling yourself on the business, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, connect with a group, connect with a networking group, because they're going to also start speaking for you as well. So, for me, shout out to BNI. It's super, it's a super big commitment, but you don't feel so isolated.
I hear you. Yeah. You're just around. You got to be around people.
You got to be around people.
Like-minded individuals, I guess.
Right.
All right. So, we come in this time in the podcast, your journeys is, I'm very fascinated by just kind of your cycle of how you ended up here. But, this is a little, so our viewers get to know a little more about you, but I always like to ask this question. If you weren't in finance, and if you could literally just plant yourself somewhere and be whoever you want to be in a profession, what would it be?
Man, honestly,
what would it be?
Yeah, like the only thing I would actually want to be is like maybe like a motivational speaker, I guess, like somebody that just like, speaks to people and gets booked, like a Gary Vee.
Okay,
Maybe
Gary.
like a freaking influencer, but like, it's like that is stressful in itself. And I think about that. Honestly, man, I'm living my dream right now. I know that sounds crazy,
Awesome.
but where I'm headed, to be a fund manager, I was going to get into that too, let you know a little bit about that.
Yep.
But man, I really want to do anything. I don't want no one else's life right now. And I know that sounds crazy. Like maybe if I was a really amazing athlete, I would like to be a ball player, I guess, but I never was that great in sports. I was in theater arts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But like, that's pretty much it, man. I love closing deals. I love handling client issues. I love my life right now. So
Awesome.
That's it, man. I would say just maybe an athlete if I could, but that's like, everybody who doesn't want to be an athlete, who doesn't want to be an entertainer or something like that,
Yeah, star.
Yeah.
I hear you. All right. But I love that comment. You're living your best life. Like
I am.
To your standards. So that's
I am.
At the end of the day, that's all you can hope for, right?
100%.
If you're doing it, you're not chasing your dream, you're living your dream.
Exactly.
What's one thing that what's one thing that I don't know about you that you haven't already told me and that I wouldn't normally know about just by looking at you?
Yeah, man. I'm a Black Jew, so
You're a Black
so
Jew.
that's not really common. Yeah, I'm Jewish, man.
All right.
And I think it's cool when I tell people. So, I hang around with my Jewish community. A lot of people at Temple, and it's like me and a few other of us. But I'm a Black Jew. I converted to Judaism back in 2015, and it's a passion of mine. I love it. I love.
So wait, and I don't know this, but and excuse my, I'm just a dumbheaded Italian. I don't know this, but like, what is that like? So is that a rare thing to be a Black Jew?
It's not. It's there is Black Jews out there, but it's very rare in America for like a Black person to convert to Judaism, if that makes sense.
Okay, all right.
But you will find some Black Jews from like Africa that live in Israel. You will find darker colored skinned Jews. But
so what's that like going to temple? Is there anybody else that's Black Jew or no? Or you're the only one?
It's like me and like a handful. It's a handful of us. And when I was attending temple in Seattle, it was like I was like literally the only one. But man, they're so welcoming, man. Like they're so kind to me. They're so good to me, and they're so supportive of me. And so, for me, it's just like it's like an extension of the family. I was actually, Kris, this is a crazy story. I was adopted by an Italian family growing up. So in high school, yeah, man, I was eating calamari every day. Like,
man, were you getting yelled at and
getting yelled at.
Okay, all right.
Out. So
all right.
in Rhode Island, dude, and on the East Coast, Italian, like, Federal Hill, I don't know if you know Providence, but
yeah, no Providence, yeah.
Yeah, so I was adopted by an Italian family. They took me through private school. They sponsored me.
Wow.
So they're like my family, like those. They're like family to me. They're still like, I know we're not blood, but they feel like my blood.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, like I was adopted by a Christian Italian family in high school. So that's something else as well.
A Catholic?
They were Christian.
Oh,
so they weren't Catholic, but they were like non-denominational, which isn't really too common. So their lineage, like they're like the mother and father, their actual parents were Catholic, but they became Christian. Right. The mother, the couple that adopted me.
Here's the most important question. Ready?
Yeah.
I mean, you converted to Judaism, but whose food is better? Italian food?
Oh man, Italians, dude. There's no comparison, dude.
100%, yeah. I don't care who you believe in. It doesn't matter who you believe in. At the end of the day.
No, man, there's no comparison, dude. Like, no, shout out to my Jews. I love all my Jews, and I'll eat the food, but
yeah, but you guys are right with the food. I mean,
yeah, man. Like,
there's a reason why Italian restaurants are more than any other type of ethnic out there. They're all over the place.
It's my favorite, man. Italian. What was that?
We got it down. We got that food part down.
You got it, man. You got it. And I actually used to work at an Italian restaurant growing up in high school. So like when I was in high school, I ended up getting this job at this like really exclusive Italian restaurant. I was the only black dude in the restaurant. Like, it was like this exclusive, like, it felt like, honestly, like mob style. Like, it was that elite. Like, you needed a pass to get in there. And my teacher got me the job, the summer job. And I will never forget this guy's name. His name was Giancarlos. The guy absolutely just loved me. And he took me under his wing. And I ended up joining the military after. Like, so I worked there for the summer. But
okay, we didn't know that. I didn't know you were. Okay.
Navy guy. So I joined that out of high school.
Okay.
Yeah. And I love working at that Italian restaurant, man. Like, that's definitely my favorite food. Number 2 would be Chinese food, actually.
Me too.
So Italian and Chinese.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's the noodle thing, maybe a little. Dumplings, things like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I wouldn't have known that about you. Well, good for you. Good for you. Here's one more. If you could sit down and kind of pick somebody's brain, either that's living or has since passed on, in the entire existence of the human earth, who would it be?
Man, like right now, if they were like, obviously, you know who I would love to talk to, believe it or not, like, and I know it might get some flack for this, but I would, if it was a person that's not alive right now, definitely be either Michael Jackson or Kobe Bryant for sure. I think they're just too influential, like just not influential in a way where like they really inspire me, like honestly. So I love both of them, but if they're alive, believe it or not, it would be either Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Morgan Stanley. I really would like to sit down and just pick that guy's brain, or Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve, man, because I'm in finance, man. So those are the top dogs, man. Like, you ain't getting that's just as high as it goes. So just to be in the same room with those guys, and it's just to pick their brains, it would be, again, I don't know how much they would hold back, but that would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
I think they're interesting choice. I don't think we've ever had Michael Jackson or right? I think we have Kobe Bryant, but not Michael Jackson. Wow.
Yeah. I know people don't like Mike like that, but man, I thought he was incredible, man.
He was ahead of his time. Yeah,
he was, man.
He really was. All right. So now we come to the segment where you can ask me anything. And it could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about finance. It doesn't have to be about business.
Dude,
I
want to go crazy, man. I want to be respectful, man. So the first question I wanted to ask you was, how old were you? Because did you become a fund manager? Did you start a debt fund? When you started Prime, did you start raising private capital to fund loans?
Not 100. No, I started as a broker.
Okay.
I started as a broker, and then it wasn't until 2006 that I actually started lending my own money. And that came by way of really showing a track record. I knew somebody that had ins with a family office. And
gotcha.
Yeah, and the family office kind of took they started out very small, right? Okay, we'll give you a little bit. Let's see what you can do with it and manage it responsibly. And I succeeded in doing that. And then obviously once that happens, then they want to give you more and more and more and more.
Got you.
So that's how that kind of came about. Yeah.
Okay, so you started with a family office. So that was really, you didn't raise any private investor capital. It was just the family office money.
It was family office money, correct. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
That makes sense.
I traditionally like dealing with, when it comes to stuff like that, I like dealing with one that kind of a style, that kind of a relationship, because, and I'm not saying other relationships don't work. I mean, they all do. It's just me personally, I don't like dealing with 100 investors or 50 investors, because everybody has different egos, risk. You got to manage all that. I just like one central source,
right.
And I've grown to love that model, growing ever since, expanding.
It's amazing. And how much capital do you manage right now?
Well, that's a long-winded question, because we it's now in the B's, because we eventually expanded out. You don't probably even know this yet, but some of the things that have been going on here recently is we're starting to fund, Prime is starting to fund very large transactions. 50 million to over $1 billion.
Mm.
Large commercial development, construction projects.
Mm.
I saw a need in that space,
Mm-hmm.
which is very underserved. And there's only about 5 banks that really dominate that space. But the way we're doing things is 100% different than banks, which is
Mm.
benefiting the sponsors in our transaction. So we got a $2.3 billion transaction. We're starting in Saudi Arabia right now, Dubai.
Mm.
We just funded a $188 million transaction in Alpharetta, Georgia,
Mm.
which is a great story. Actually, yeah, I mean, it's a great. The sponsor is a really great person, but we just got that done. So we're, now it's in the bees for sure.
Wow, man. Congrats. That's huge, dude. I guess that answers my question about your net worth. You said anything.
Oh man. Well, listen, yeah. It's yeah, it's not as big as you think. It's not as big as
can I at least say this? And everyone's probably, all the students are probably like, nobody had the kahunas to ask Kris, right?
No, at least you asked.
At least I asked. But Kris's net worth is over 100 million. I could say that. Right?
Jeez, Joe, he's
saying anything.
Yeah, I love it. He's raw and he's unfiltered. I love it. We're gonna edit this out. Mark this time. No, I'm only kidding. We're not. Listen, no. You know what? I don't even know. I don't even. Honestly, to tell you that, like, unless you're going through a divorce.
Yeah.
That's when. Listen, if I sat here and I told you, here's my net worth, that means either 1, I'm egotistical, or 2, I just divorce, because that's how you know the real number, right? If I'm following my net worth, I have more things to pay attention to.
Right.
Really, if you go through a divorce, you know what your net worth is. Believe me.
Yeah.
I really don't know, to be honest.
It's inspiring, dude, and I think that's the only reason why I asked. It's super inspiring,
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah. I mean, listen, whatever it is, a lot of hard work, struggle, grit, grind. I didn't come from a privileged family.
Right.
I didn't come from a trust fund. I didn't have anything really handed to me. Actually, nothing handed to me. So,
Right. Yeah. So another question I had for you is, are you still just managing that family office's money, or did you now bring in other family offices or other hedge funds to manage that capital?
I still have the family office that funds a certain portion of deals for Prime. This newest venture we're doing, to be candid, we have a joint venture with a very large family trust. So it's a different source of money with the trust, and so I guess you could say it's 2 relationships that we have. But
that's awesome,
because there's two different relationships for 2 different asset classes, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's incredible. Last 2 questions I had for you.
Yeah.
Are you a watch guy? I know you're a car guy. We'll get into that next, but are you a watch guy?
You know what? I used to be a watch guy. I have watches, but honestly, I think now it's cooler not to have a watch.
Interesting.
I think, yeah, like it's kind of like that. Don't get me wrong. I like fashion. I like getting dressed up, but you know how like the Mark Zuckerbergs, it's like a sweatshirt. And
yeah.
Right. It's kind of in that realm where like everybody I know that's successful and they have money, they got like, the RM on, they got got that, which, and again, I have some watches, but I never wear them. I'm like, I've grown into this age where it's just like, I think it's cooler.
Yeah.
Watch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's interesting. I totally get it. I love watches. So maybe I'm just not at that other level where you just don't need a watch. You can walk in with your pajamas. I get it.
No, it's not even about that. Like I admire, and once in a while I'll wear one. I do. Like once in a while, like, this is a cool timepiece or jewelry, if you will, if you want to look at it that way. Because if you think about it, we really don't need a watch.
Exactly.
But it's turned into more of a fashion thing than a statement. But I'm not. Yeah, do your thing, man. I think they're cool. I think it's. I know guys that collect them, but for me, I don't know. I been like that for probably 5 years.
Yeah, so you were into it, and then you kind of just phased out, which is understandable. Last question I have for you is your favorite car brand. I know you're like a Lamborghini guy. I know you're a Ferrari guy. I drive a Porsche.
Well, we're gonna have to beat you up a little bit.
Man, I love Porsche, man. Maybe this is my little bracket right now. I got the little
No,
Cayman GTS.
Okay. Yeah.
The 4-liter. I got the new 4-liter.
No, I'm busting your butt because here's my thing with Porsches. They're great cars. They're great. I mean, they're great. They're legendary. I'm not this, but here's the thing. When I look at a Porsche, it doesn't get me juiced up. Like,
yeah, man. I get it.
Nothing's changed in the last 30 years. Like, it's the same style. And I know it's a cult, but for me, maybe an old 959, which those are big money, but the 959 is like a unicorn of Porsche. Came out in the 80s, 89, I think, a 959 Porsche. I would get one of those, like, but it just doesn't excite me like it doesn't sound like a Lamborghini. It doesn't feel like a Lamborghini. Like, you get in a Lamborghini, and there's even different levels of Lamborghinis, but you get into a Lamborghini, and you feel a certain set of emotions that you're not going to feel for.
Understandable. I get what you're saying. Porsche is classic for me. If I had Lamborghini money, I probably would get a Lambo.
No, listen, there's a lot of nice Porsches out there. So yeah. I'm not that. What color do you have?
I have the Carrera white. It's like a metallic white. Okay. A little sparkly metallic white. So classic style.
Yeah. I had a dream that I died in a white sports car, like a long time ago, like when I was like in my teenage. So I'll never drive a white sports car.
Interesting.
I'll never buy a white sport. And I like the car. I like how it looks, but I will never drive one. I had a dream that I crashed and burned.
That's great. So you love Lamborghini's your number one choice for car brands?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I mean, all car brands are great. I mean, they're all different. They really are. If you're a true car guy, you know the differences between each and what it does, what it doesn't do. I identify with Lamborghini particularly because, I mean, it's a great engineering car, but I love Lamborghini's story. You know the story, of Lamborghini, right?
I don't really know it too much.
So, you know, the founder of Lamborghini, he bought he owned he developed tractors, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, and so he became, you know, somewhat well-to-do, so he bought his first Ferrari, and when he bought his first,
I know it.
The Ferrari broke down, and he brought it back, and he's like, fix this, and they gave him problems, and he said, you know what? Screw you, I'm gonna go and create my own car brand.
Right.
Kind of like the underdog, and nobody really challenged Ferrari at that time, and he came to Lamborghini. So I like that whole history of how, you know, how Lamborghini started, is because someone said I could do this better, and you know, I'm not going to take any shit, and I'm just going to go and start my own thing, and look what happened.
What is it like driving a Lambo though? Like, do you get like a lot of just like haters? Like, I would honestly,
everybody thinks kind of feel like
I wouldn't feel confident driving. I would think that people would think that like this guy's trying to be too much, if that makes sense.
100%. That's welcome to my world. People think they know you, but they really don't. But yeah, the common thing, you know, or if I take somebody out on a date, you know, a common thing is, you know, they have this perception that like, I think any supercar, that you're just a douchebag. Like, you know, and it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm not doing this to show off. Like, this is my passion. Like, I'll go out sometimes on a Friday night. A couple guy friends like, hey, come on out in the summertime. I'll go for like a 6-hour drive. I'll leave at like 8 p.m. I'll come at like 3 a.m. And it's just me and the road. And I'll do stuff like that because that's how much it feels.
You love it.
I love it.
I keep saying last question, but now you got me thinking. I have to ask another one, Kris. I got this one-on-one time with you, man. I got to ask you these. How many cars do you own? Is it 5 or 6, or is it less than that?
It's a little more than that.
It is more than that. That's right. Yeah.
A little more than that. Yeah.
That's crazy. I don't even know how you do it.
The problem is I don't really sell, right? It's the only hobby I love. I mean, honestly, I love, it's a hobby of mine. It's not anything more than that. It's not the sake of having things. It's a hobby. I enjoy it. You know, if you ask me the question if I could be anything, and hop into something, it'd be an F1 driver all day long.
That's funny, dude. That would be sick, actually. That would be sick. That would be sick.
If I didn't have to go, if I didn't have to do any training or anything.
That would be sick.
Those guys, you think basketball players, football players have a life? Look at an F1 driver. These guys
100%.
travel to the best cities in the world. They're like goddesses, literally goddesses in Europe. And those guys.
That would be sick.
Any NBA athlete has nothing on an F1 driver in terms of that whole scene. Believe me.
Yeah, I probably would actually, since you said that, I would actually want to be an athlete that is like, he's not on a team. So it would either be like a golfer, a tennis player, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Where I don't think I would be F1. I think that's pretty intense, but I think
it is intense.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. That's awesome. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, well, listen, we said a lot, including my net worth, which we didn't. I don't know what that is, but
I'm sorry, dude. I have to just.
I love it. Listen, no. To be honest with you, I hope other people see this and they ask different questions, because it's sometimes graduates ask the same question over and over, right? And our listeners probably get tired of me saying like, "Oh yeah, my hobby's cars," and you ask different questions about cars, which is cool. But I mean, you ask some different questions, and which I love.
Thanks, man. Hopefully I didn't offend you. I just wanted to ask it, man.
I hope to go to the conference this year.
I am, absolutely. I'll be there every year. And this year,
John.
What was that?
Damon John is going to be there.
That's right. So, Chris, I want to leave this last thing, and hopefully we can edit this in. Is I'm actually becoming a private lender this year. So I'm going to be doing. They're called C-locks, like just how you have a HELOC. So commercial equity lines of credit.
Okay.
I'm going to be providing that for the whole state of Arizona.
Wow.
So I already have some commitments. I do have to raise private capital right now. We're going to be a smaller fund, so it'll be $100 million fund, and we're going to lend anywhere between $100,000 to $1 million. That's our max. But we'll take second position loans out. So we'll do land, we'll do hotels, we'll do storage, and we want to provide basically short-term lines of credit. So 1 to 5 year line of credit. And we're actually in the process of doing that. And I think we'll be actually funding our first deals by the end of this year. So that's what we're working on.
Well, congratulations, brother. That's awesome.
Man.
Only in the state of Arizona, or are you branching out nationwide?
Yeah, so because we're a small fund, so the $100 million is going to probably get swallowed up pretty quick, as you know. Yeah. So if we ended up expanding and if we have more capital, we'll definitely look in other states. But for currently right now, we just want to prove that concept that, hey, these C-locks work. We know how to underwrite. We know how to fund deals. We know how to handle situations when problems come up. And so we have a board of advisors. We have a board of directors. So yeah, man, I would love to keep you in a loop of that too, and just let you know what's going on with that. Pick your brain,
We could funnel you some deals too. I mean, from graduates that have a deal in
Arizona. That'd be awesome.
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
To that. All right. Well, good. Listen, Joshua, I want sincerely. It's good to see you again. It's been 5 years. Thank you for agreeing to do this. A lot of people, a lot of insight. And, guys, that's it. That kind of wraps it up for this episode of Entrepreneurs in Finance. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just type in Commercial Capital Training Group and subscribe to it, because you'll see videos like this and other things that come out on a monthly basis. And hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will catch you on next month. Take care. There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. People always say, Chris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words: hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business.